I want to talk to you about some of the differences between men and women, specifically how we communicate and process our thoughts and feelings, and how this can impact your relationships. So as you listen, try to keep an open mind, as some of what I'm going to discuss may be a little triggering. I'm going to start by talking about the different core love needs that men and women have, and why they're important to us, and how they affect the way that we communicate and interact. According to best-selling author Dr. John Gray, a man's core needs are trust, acceptance, admiration, approval, appreciation, and encouragement. Men value power, competency, efficiency, and achievement. Their sense of self-worth is defined by their ability to achieve results in their life, and they often don't experience fulfillment unless they feel successful. Essentially, a man's sense of self-worth is centered around his leadership ability and how confident others are in him. So here are some tips on how to speak to men to get them to listen and understand. First of all, men are problem solvers. They feel the main purpose of communication is to solve issues. For a man, ruminating over a problem that can't be solved feels like a waste of time and energy. Whereas for women, communication is about gathering and exploring facts and feelings so they can figure out and process how they feel. For most men, reacting to a situation that cannot be changed feels fruitless, and sometimes they don't want to pursue it. So when needing to share about difficult issues that require a lot of thought, communication, it's often recommended that you seek out a close female relative or friend who may be more comfortable with open-ended problems. When telling a longer story about a problem that you don't need a solution for, it's often helpful to start with what was resolved or taken care of first, so he can step out of his fix-it mentality as you explain all the details. If he knows that he doesn't have to keep track of all the details that you're presenting to him, he can just relax and let you tell your story. If he feels like he has to pay attention to a lot of details and then formulate a solution to your problem, he may start to feel overwhelmed, especially if he's had a long day. If a man thinks that his words or actions are not effective or helpful to his partner, he will often shut down and pull away and maybe stop giving altogether because he feels like his efforts are not going to be appreciated. Whenever possible, offer your partner a win-win solution. A male is more likely to accept solutions where he feels empowered. Feeling like a failure or a loser will lower his confidence and drops his testosterone levels, making him feel weak. Men prefer compartmentalizing and straightforward expressions of thought that are concise and factually accurate. When women express themselves based on feelings, metaphors, generalizations, a man may have a harder time following and understanding, and she may begin to sound overly expressive to him, and that makes him feel like she could be exaggerating or this is done for a dramatic effect. So the way a woman makes someone else feel understood is by showing empathy for that person and mirroring them. She feels what they feel. So she will often use expressive language and examples when communicating in order to paint a detailed picture. That way the man can empathize and mirror her back. Men often do not respond well to mirroring, though, or feeling something that makes them uncomfortable. When women express themselves in a negative way, using critical words or a harsh tone, a man's brain will often get triggered and start to experience anxiety, which then makes that entire experience for him physically and emotionally taxing. A more loving approach may be to be aware of our tone, the volume of our voice while communicating with our partner, be conscious of the words we are choosing and whether or not they sound combative. Sometimes when we are upset at a situation, we often sound upset at the person we are talking to about the situation. So a good suggestion is to try to reframe the message by avoiding words that sound judgmental or are evaluating your partner. Words that are in the absolute, like, always, never, should, or why would you. Check in with yourself before having any important conversations with your partner. Are you tired, stressed, hungry? Are you in the right physical and mental space to be having a serious talk, or are you just creating an opportunity for miscommunication? Now, they say never go to bed angry, but I say it's better to go to bed angry than to lash out at the end of the night with hurtful words that you can't take back in the light of day. Anger clouds your judgment and is best left out of your intimate conversations. Communicating your needs and feelings before you get to the stage of anger is the smarter and more loving and mature approach in your relationship. And that's what's going to give you the most benefit. So while women need someone to talk to and process with, men prefer time alone to process and discover what they feel about something. They generally don't like to discuss a topic until they know where they stand on it. So that brings us to what a woman's core needs are. Her needs consist of caring, understanding, reassurance, respect for her feelings, boundaries, and viewpoints, acts of devotion, and validation. Women value love, beauty, personal growth, spirituality, healing, nurturing, and the quality of their relationships. Their sense of self-worth is often derived through what they experience in their feelings and the quality of their relationships. Women are not ashamed of having problems and even pride themselves on their ability to work through them as a team with others. Even a lose-win scenario is an acceptable option for women as long as they care about the person who's winning. Essentially, a woman's sense of self-worth is often tied into how well she takes care of others. A lot of women are not well versed in their own needs, belief systems, and the way they process. They have spent so much of their life either learning about how to take care of others or actually taking care of others, such as with their own children. Knowledge of self applied becomes wisdom. So here are some generalities that apply to most females that might help you in your understanding of yourself and why you feel the way you feel. When a woman doesn't feel seen or heard, it affects her ability to feel positive and be happy. Having a strong support system of females is the most efficient way to accomplish this, as most men have limits as to how much their neocortex will allow them to digest in a conversation. He may hit his conversational limits way before she does. A woman can easily drain her partner with her need to verbally communicate if she's not consciously aware of his limits, leaving him unable to emotionally connect later when it benefits both of them and not just her. Women talk to find their solutions. The act of conversation is therapeutic, and being able to express their thoughts helps them understand their feelings. When women go silent with someone, it is usually because they no longer trust that person with their thoughts or feelings. So often when a man goes silent, she may misinterpret it as he is upset with her. As unfair as it is, a woman's anger is often rejected by society as a whole. Women are only allowed to show anger when defending another. Even women who have endured painful lives are discounted and deemed emotional. Direct expression of anger, especially when directed at men, makes other people label them as unladylike, unfeminine, not maternal, sexually unattractive, destructive, and devoid of femininity. While this perception is unfair and unjust and clearly manipulative, it is also what is largely programmed into our culture. So to take back your power, a woman needs to feel heard and understood and have a strong sense of self. So, in conclusion, men thrive on appreciation and women thrive on communication. I hope that you found this helpful in understanding some of the differences and preferences of men and women.